Alright, so here in this video I'm gonna explain you about my situation and how I got to maybe, I don't know yet, get a green card for the US, for the United States. So green card is a permanent residency that allows you to stay there for 10 years and is fairly easy to renew as long as you've been there for during the green card. Every year in October, you have the chance to enter a lottery. Millions of people apply. You need to go to a website, just enter some very basic information about your passport and just like very easy information. But then millions apply and you need to be lucky to be selected because they only select about every year 100,000 people, and from that 100,000 people about 50,000 get it. So me back in October 2020 registered, did everything and stuff, and 7 months later in May, you get to check if you're selected or not. I had been doing the registration to the lottery for the past 5 to 6 years, and each time it would tell me you have not been selected. I kept going, doing it, just being like, you never know, you might get lucky, and it doesn't cost anything to enter the lottery. Not this year, but because now we're in 2022. In 2021, I got selected for the very first time, and more even so, I got a fairly low number in the 3,000s for Europe. It's considered a fairly low number, case number. Basically, once you've been selected, you get a bunch of instruction, and you need to do your DS260, which is a massive form. When you're a single person, you need to, I think, do one for each applicant, because if you bring your family with you and you get like 3 family members, there need to be 4 per person. I think so, yeah. So in my case, I'm just a single applicant, so that's easier. And filling out this thing, because I've traveled quite a bit, I need to give most of the addresses that I've stayed at, where I've lived for like more than a year and stuff, and etc. etc. So they want to know pretty much everything about you, and I just did that and started to check online to see what's the process once you've been selected. Because once you've been selected, there's still like basically you got a 50% chance to get it, depending on your case number, if you're eligible, and a whole bunch of things. My case, I think, is a good one, but I'll only know next week, basically. And I'm saying next week because now is the time when I've done all of the medical examination. There was a bit of a tricky part, but it's been solved. I just need to go get, before the interview at the embassy, I need to go get my medical file. And I've done, gathered all of the documents. They're here. And the X-ray, you need to do an X-ray and a blood test. I've got like all my documents in there. Just what's required from I'm gonna check them again. So I gotta go in a couple days, but are all of these basically that's like the basic minimum that's required. So you got your interview letter, your passport and a copy of it, photographs, copies of your DS260, birth certificates, medical examination, and yeah, like the police certificate and everything. So that's the basics. I also have like other stuff like my diplomas, pay sheets, everything that can help me make my case basically. And next week I'll have to present all of that to a U.S. consular officer and to a bunch of people, and they're gonna decide if they grant me that green card or not. That's pretty much the story so far. Hopefully I end up getting it. After this, like in a couple of days, I'll do the rest of the process. I'm gonna see if I manage to film a little bit. I'm doing my interview in Paris. I have diplomas as an IT engineer. I'm not currently working, which I hope is not gonna be a problem. They need to basically, since apparently the medical thing is gonna be alright, they need to check if and to basically make sure and to estimate if I'm subject to become a public charge. Basically, it means that they don't want me to start costing money to the US, so that I can handle myself. I think since I have experience in New Zealand and Australia and places abroad, I've been to Canada, I've traveled around, I know what it is to immigrate. I've been able to find work fairly easily in Europe, so I hope once I'm in US it will be similar. Alright, so that's for my situation and why I think I have a pretty good case of making it. Then hopefully I'll be not disappointed in the next part of the video when I will let you know about the results of this adventure that I'm overtaking. I've been wanting to live in the US since I was a late teenager. But yeah, if I manage to get that green card through the diversity lottery program, it will be very neat. So that's about it for now. We will see how thing goes later this week, and I will keep you posted. Alright, getting ready for the trip to Paris. It's early in the morning. I'm gonna try to ride earlier than I expected because traffic in Paris, so let's go. And let's go right now, but let's get ready. One of the fun part of this trip is that I'm bringing the bike. To Paris because I'm going with the car, so I think I can put the bike in the back. I've done it before, but I had to move stuff, but there was not only the bike, so we'll have to see how it fits. It's like a perfect fit. Alright, I think I'm all set. Let's go on this big trip to Paris to maybe become a US resident. Most important things are all of these, all my paperwork, and I can go. Okay, so I'm in Paris earlier than expected. Traffic was not too bad, so we're getting there. I'm gonna go get my medical file and then just enjoy the city and hang out. It's not too bad in terms of weather, so I get to have fun with the bike and all. So let's go do that. Alright, so I got the envelope. The bike is in there. I'm just gonna go by my Airbnb, try to find a parking spot that I don't have to pay for. during my stay next to my Airbnb, get the bike, and then move around the city. So I gotta go do that. It's gonna take a while because I need to ride around the city, and it's like 10 o'clock, but yeah, not like 9 o'clock. But it's gonna be crowded. All right, let's go have fun. The weather's good. It's a little bit cold, but not too cold. So that's gonna be a good trip. So far, so good. All right, so I'm staying in an Airbnb right over there, and I managed to find a parking spot. Technically, I think it's good. I was really lucky. So yeah, cool. There's a garage exit there, but I'm right. If you check it, I'm right in the marks. That this with the tires. So I hope it's good. So just gonna unload what I don't want to leave in the car and stuff, and just gonna go hang out with my bicycle. Right now, I don't have much battery here. Okay, so that's my Airbnb for the night. I'm gonna go hang out with people later on. The bike is right in front there. I can almost see it from the bed, so that's okay. But I'm gonna see if I cannot get it in or something and attach it in the hallway or whatever. But yeah, it's just, there's already a guy who told me like, yeah, be careful of attaching that outside. So I'll have to see. But otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty good Airbnb. It was not too expensive. So. Okay, let's get some rest a bit and then head out and have fun. Okay, so because I was worried about leaving the bicycle alone outside, even locked and everything, I found a solution. It's only on the first floor, so I just carried it, and the apartment is quite big, so I mean, I'm the only one here, so they won't see it anyway. I won't leave a trace. Okay, I think it's a good solution. Alright, I'm just gonna check all my documents again and go to bed, and tomorrow interview. It was a fun day. The ride was cool. See you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna have to leave all the camera stuff and all in the car because they're kinda picky about what you can come in and not come in. They have lockers, but I'd rather have the least possible. So I'm not gonna film anything until then, and I'll just update you once I'm back with all my gear to let you know how things went. Alright, let's go. Alright, back from the embassy. Result is good. The visa is granted. The guy was being like careful. You can still be refused entry into the US if you don't bring the right paperwork. So I'll look up whatever needs to happen for me and what paperwork I need to get to the US. I know about some of it. I don't know about everything. But yeah, it's a good start. So visa granted, and we'll see how we go. Quite happy about it, but yeah, it's not done yet. I need to come back, get the visa, and then I need to get inside the US. But yeah, it's a good start. All right, let's go back to Belgium here, and I have been registering in the diversity lottery since I think 2014 or 2015, since I can remember. Basically after my graduation I felt like I had the diplomas, not really the money for it because I didn't know about how much money was needed, but I had jobs and stuff, so I started registering because I was in the right place to make it successful. Would I get selected. In the meantime, so as I said in the previous video, it took me about 6 to 7 years to be selected. Every October was on my calendar to register, get a picture or something, and wait for May to get the result. In the meantime, I kept living my life. Life didn't stop for me. I had to do stuff. I was not like, this year will be the right one. I was just like, this is an option, I'll just register it. And there's plenty of things to do in life. So I lived in Canada for a while. It was actually, I think it was actually right after Canada or during Canada that I found out about the lottery. And then I lived in Belgium and worked in Belgium for a while at a company that got me to travel to different places, including Portugal and Brazil. So that was fun, you know, keep on living and getting a fine line on my resume. Then I did the working holiday visa in New Zealand for a year. I was this close to staying, living in New Zealand, but it didn't happen. I had a motorbike in New Zealand. I road trip most of the country. I've seen plenty of things, made plenty of friends, and it was fun for a whole year. So I kept busy, you know, and met some American friend who now I might be able to see them in their home country. Then I went to Australia, basically because I was in New Zealand. I just did the working holiday visa in Australia, so it was about 2 years while I was not in Europe. It also builds up my confidence into how I can move someplace I don't know and just figure things out once I'm there. How much I need to travel in my luggage, how to do the paperwork, how to handle like big flights and like migration, basically immigrating from one country to another. Then after in Australia I had plenty of fun. I mostly stayed in Melbourne because of budgets and things like that. I actually was able to do a trip to New York for a while. Basically, I was just telling all of that about my background because through all those years, every October I would just register. Then in May I would check and I would not be selected. It was some kind of a disappointment, but you know, life kept going on, and since I'm quite active and I do different kind of things, I would just keep going on. My backup plan was to maybe try to find a company in Canada, since it's a little bit easier as a European to get to Canada than to the US, and maybe from there either enjoy being close to the US or find a contact to get some work in the US. So that was basically the way I went about the diversity lottery. It's not the end goal, it's just an option that you can get into for free through, I'll put some links in the comments to like all the steps and things. It's very well explained actually on their website about it. The website to register into it is a bit like weird, but once you get selected, actually the process that they give you, I'll put that link too, is well explained. So as I said, not the end goal, just one of the options with a backup plan. To me, because I have a master's degree as an IT engineer, they didn't really care about the savings I needed to get there. They didn't ask about it, they didn't care. They saw that I had travel here and there and that I can handle myself. But just the process of it will cost, I would say, at least $1,000, from the fees for the doctor, the fees at the embassy, the fees to get into the country, and other related medical fees around. You would it would be good to have at least $1,000 to get. I think around November maybe, or so, like October or November, I got the mail about the documents. I didn't do anything except that I realized that I had stayed for at least a year. It was actually a year in New Zealand and Australia, so I didn't have my uh, police record from that. So I asked for those police records. It took a little bit. You need to pay some stuff for Australia, and then I got it. And so I was like, okay, I have all the paperwork. Check, recheck, and recheck all the paperwork you need to be ready for your embassy interview. In, I think, end of November or around December. I think it was around December. I got a mail telling me, okay, your interview is scheduled for mid-January. So I had about 3 weeks, 3 weeks to handle everything, especially the medical examination. So I booked a medical examination. Most of it I did in Paris because of reasons that space invaders basically. Because anytime I would get to Paris and because I had friends also there, but yeah, so I did in Paris. I had a little bit of a hiccup about my vaccination, but it's a special case for me because my mom's a nurse, so she did most of my vaccination, but because of that, I didn't have the paperwork for it. So we tried something with a doctor, but it wasn't official enough. So I actually redid most of my vaccination to be able to have the right paperwork in order to get the medical file from the doctor and be able to do my interview at the embassy. The interview at the embassy, you take a ticket, you show your paper, you prepare everything, you pay for it, and you wait. Then I went to a clerk who just wanted to verify some of my papers. I had done copies like they ask of my diplomas and everything, and so she would check the diploma because my diplomas were a little bit too big to go through the little hole that you have when you have a clerk with like a screen and everything. I just put them on the screen and she would watch and check and like, okay, and she would just say it's a valid copy of the original. Once all of that was done, I had to wait a little bit more, but not very long, and I just did the interview. When I was in line, I had noticed some of the people taking the interviews. The guy is like, you can either do it in French or English, but if you're doing it in French, because it's in Paris, this will be a different language, depending on what he will, I don't know. There will be some kind of like are you really sure you want to move to the US not being able to speak English, basically? That's the way I felt about it. But I didn't experience it because my English is alright. The final interview went pretty well. The guy just asked me about my travel, checked some of my documents, I actually don't really remember the questions in general. He didn't ask me about work or anything, what I was doing, mostly about my travels, making sure I didn't have any alcohol or drug addiction was a big part of either the medical examination or the interview. Rather I had contacts there where I would stay, what were my plans a little bit, but yeah, not much. Not anything very hard to answer. I just answered and it was like, yeah, okay, it's granted. Make sure that your vaccinations are in order, because in the DS260 I had said that my vaccinations, I didn't have the paperwork for it, but that had been solved since then. So it was like, okay, I don't care. That's not to me that you have to explain that. But it was like, just make sure that it's in order, especially with COVID and everything. And I just told him, yeah, okay, I'll look it up online. And he said, yeah, that's what you need to do. And it was just like, yeah, goodbye, have a good day. And that was done. So that's my process for it. He kept my passport and I got it back. It's back there. And now I have the visa stuck into one of the pages of my passport. And I have until July to get there. We're in April. My flight's booked for next week. And I also received, some of the paperwork about the fees you need to pay to get the green card, the actual green card. You can either pay them after arriving, but they really much advise to pay them beforehand. It's about $200, and that's most of my process for getting it. Then I did another trip to Paris to retrieve it from basically the place where you can pick it up from Paris. It went pretty quickly, honestly. He told me it would take probably 2 weeks, and I think it like between 3 to 5 days it was done, and I could go pick it up. So I went to Paris and picked it up. Alright, so that is where I will get my visa, my passport back. So let's get there. Let's go get my pass to the United States. Okay, so I got it back. The visa is in there. I won't show it to you because it's sensitive information, but I got it. And 11th of April, heading to New York. Yeah, so everything worked out pretty well, because the number of trips that I did to Paris, either for my leisure or for the process, enabled me to do some of my passion and meet some friends and have parties in Paris. So that was fun. Didn't really, stressed about it. Now I have to figure out my life over there. Alright, so we are at the airport and waiting for the flights. It's gonna be quite a while waiting, but there was a bit of a hiccup yesterday because I had booked the tests, the COVID tests, at a place that doesn't exist anymore, but I was not notified of that. So there was a bit of stress. I booked another one in the morning right before taking my bus, and it went fine. So now I got the test and I got all the paperwork and everything. The last test, the last thing to pass is the immigration in the US. So we'll see what we can do about it and how it goes. I'll let you know. Alright, I'm gonna do a bunch of shots for the Alright, just got past customs. I'm gonna go get my bag back. It went pretty quickly. I thought it would be a bit longer, so let's go get the bags and take an Uber back to my place. Alright, hello everyone. I have been in the US for about 2 months now, close to 2 months. And things are going well. I finished my first week of work last week, so I found work which is related to my qualifications, so that's cool. I hang out, met people, went to concerts, so living the life here in the US since I found work and it's going pretty well. I got maybe a bit too confident, but I went on and found a motorcycle that's in a good price, and I'm currently in the process of getting it. So, you know, building up my life here in the US, having fun. After the plane landed, I just moved into my Airbnb and just started, you know, being a bit of a tourist for a while, because I didn't really have any paperwork. Like, I had like my visa, which I can now show you. I feel I blur like the important information. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's what the visa looked like. It's been stamped. Then I received the green card, which I'm also gonna blur because there's like sensitive information that I don't want public here. It's like pipe hissing, sorry about that. And I even got a COVID shot to like be in order with my booster and all here in the US. So yeah, you know, like building up all of my paperwork, getting a bank account, all those kind of things is in the process or already done. So yeah, just gonna keep going on, living my life here, and I'll try to share some of whatever I do, road trips, concerts, hang out in the city and all. I haven't spent a lot of time editing so far because I was looking for a job, and that was a bit stressful, and I didn't really want to like edit stuff. Like I wasn't in the mood for that. But now that things are gonna get a bit more stable, I feel like I will be able to edit and hang out and film a bunch of things and give you some news more comfortably, and you know, like start projects and things like that. So I'm sorry because it was a bit of a long video, but at least you got my full process of how I ended up getting the green card. I hope it helps some of you keeping hope that it's doable. You need to be a bit lucky, but you know, just keep going on it. If it's really what you want, like it was for me, then you might get it. If not, backup plan, have other ways to go there, but that's definitely a way that works, and I've seen for quite a few people. If you look up online, there's other people sharing their experience here and there in on YouTube. So thank you very much for watching. Remember that if it's easy, it's not funny, though the visa lottery made it a bit easier, but still pretty tough process. So if it's easy, it's not funny, so keep challenging yourself and all, and hopefully see you in the next one, maybe at gigs. If you come to New York, let me know.